Hi guys, I am Kassidy. I'm one of the adult leaders for senior high, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about Luke chapter 19 today. So with Luke chapter 19, instantly it's kind of titled for me in my Bible, it says Zacchaeus the tax collector. And I don't know what your guys' experience was, but growing up in church, I remember we had this fun little song that we would sing in our little elementary days about Zacchaeus the tax collector, and for the Lord he wanted to see is one of the lines that stood out. But yeah, reading through it now, it's one of those things where I think you kind of pick up on different things when you read through it. And so I'm just going to share a little bit about what stood out to me when I was reading. So the first one was, it says, so Zacchaeus climbs up to see Jesus, and Jesus calls him down and says, I must stay at your house today. And then it says, all the people saw this and began to mutter, he had gone to be a guest of the sinner. And for me, like, one of the reasons that stood out is because I think that, like, it's just a reminder that, like, people have no clue how Jesus is going to use someone. And, you know, to them, they see this certain thing, but like in Jesus's eyes, he was like, he's very intentional about who he's spending his time with and who he's performing miracles on and changing and investing in. And so, like, it was not by a coincidence that God chose and Jesus chose Zacchaeus. And so just reading that, I was like, people are always going to have their opinions, but like God's opinion is what really matters. And it says in verse 10, it says, for the Son of Man came to seek and to save what was lost. And again, like, God knows what he is doing and knows just the power of calling out to Zacchaeus in that moment. Like, no one's ever going to get that, but like, he knows, he's got the bigger picture in mind. The other part that I kind of focused on was, it was the parable of 10 minas. I may have pronounced that wrong. But basically what happens is there are 10 servants who are given, and he gave them 10 minas. So each servant had their certain amount. And then he said, when I return, like, I want to see what you've gained from this. And so flash forward, we've got the first servant who said, hey, this is what you gave me, and I got 10 more. The second one said, hey, I got 5 more, and each of them were blessed. The third one said, hey, I just tucked whatever you gave me in this cloth, because he said, like, I know you're a hard man, and just kind of fearful of that. And that was the thing where it was like, oh my gosh, like, you didn't do anything with what I gave you, and just kind of the selfishness of that. And so to me, I think it's kind of like, all right, what are we doing with what we're given? And we can't just kind of hold that in close out of fear and just like wanting to hold on to that stuff. And so it's like, God calls us to multiply and to, you know, bring more people in and really, really kind of produce with what he's given us. And so that was also something that kind of stood out to me. And then the final thing was near the end of that chapter, there's a part where some people are like calling out to Jesus, and they're saying, rebuke your disciples. And he says, if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out. And that's just like that thing to me that, like, at the end of the day, like, God's creation is going to praise him. Even if mouths are shut, like, nature is just going to be glorifying his name. And so just that, like, reminder that, like, it's so much bigger than us, really, really stood out to me. So I've been enjoying reading through these different chapters in Luke. And yeah, those are some of my thoughts on Luke 19.